What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the Other Side of the Firewall podcast. We talk about the latest and greatest in cybersecurity news, as well as we highlight those movers and shakers and glass ceiling breakers, those people of color who've made it to the other side of the proverbial firewall. My name is Ryan Williams. As always, I'm joined by Shannon Tynes.
What's up? What's up?
And Chris Apicon.
What's going on, everybody?
What's going on? So welcome to, I think I dubbed this season 4. So season 4, episode 2. I'm going to stop giving you the episode count fairly soon because I'm going to forget what it is. But welcome back to the show. Thank you for tuning in. If you have not already, please go back and listen to I have a bunch of really good Ask a CISSP episodes during our holiday break. I have another one coming up as well. We'll probably air this week as well with Alan Wesley. So he's fourth time on the show. Usually we don't have people come on that frequently just because scheduling things of that nature. So he broke the record, right? So definitely tune in for that one. And then get up all the websites that go by our name, all the other stuff I forget to talk about at the beginning. Also, buy the book, The Other Side of the Firewall. You can go to theothersideofthefirewall.com or pretty much anywhere books are sold to pick up the guide. But without further ado, I give it to Shannon.
All right, everybody. So this article comes from cyberscoop.com, written by Tim Starks. And the title of it is China Accuses U.S. of Exploiting Microsoft Zero Day in Cyber Attack, right? So Beijing's coming at us. It's not the other way around. Usually when we report, it's us saying, hey, China did this, North Korea did this, Russia did this. Well, they're saying U.S. intelligence agencies are attacking Chinese enterprises. And let's be honest here, it's true, right? Like we do the same thing that they do to us, right? And I don't say that from my standpoint. I say that from the fact that the current president has come out and said it, right? Like he's been interviewed and he's been like, yeah, we're out there doing this. You know what I mean? What do you expect? You know what I mean? But what China's getting on us for, right, is something that actually happened in the previous administration, right? So they're talking about this Microsoft Zero Day that was exploited from July of 2022 to I think it was July of 2023. So like for a whole year time frame, we exploited a vulnerability in Microsoft Exchange, right? So it's not like we can't sit here and assume that we're the ones that are getting attacked by everybody and we're not doing anything wrong, right? Like we have teams in place that do these things. We have units that are out there doing the same type of stuff that these other countries are doing to us, right? So for China to pretend to be so hurt, right, when we've accused them so many times, I mean, we should just do the same thing, right?
Clutch their pearls.
Right,
I cannot believe.
How could you do this to us? You know what I mean? Like, no, come on now. You know what I mean? But no, I mean, they're calling us out for it. And I mean, it is what it is, right? Like we have agencies that do this type of thing. You know what I mean? So the fact that we did it doesn't surprise me. The fact that it's one that they're coming out with, and maybe it was just that they were late to discover it, right? Because we're talking like 2 years ago now, right? From the time frame that they said July 2023. We're in it's the 2025, right? So
yeah, they're saying the Exchange server, right, was essentially compromised for nearly a year, which is insane to think about.
Yeah. So I mean, we're good at what we do, I guess, right? I guess what it comes down to, right? Like, and we'll get into that even later, right? Talking about other organizations that are out there helping with things that are going on, but yeah, this. I mean, didn't surprise me. Yes, it'll happen again in the future, right? Like it's happened in the past. It'll happen again in the future. It's something that, we're not just going to sit back and take it, right? This is what it is. But Chris, what's your thoughts on this?
Yeah. So first thoughts, I mean, first thing I wanted to discuss was zero-day attacks, right? For our listeners who aren't aware of what that means. So a zero-day attack is essentially a previously unknown software vulnerability that's not unpatched, right? It makes essentially a target for attackers, right? So it's an unpatched vulnerability from a vendor. And what's interesting is they specifically mentioned the Microsoft, right? So China mentioned Microsoft, an email exchange server that was compromised for a year. But what's interesting is that I think prior, Microsoft actually had an accusation against the Chinese government saying that China has exploited zero-day attacks in its SharePoint products. So it's kind of like tit for tat at this point, right? So they're kind of accusing each other. So I think this was an intentional kind of salvo saying this is kind of Microsoft. This is kind of Microsoft doing this. So it's just a very interesting dynamic there, right? Now Microsoft obviously used everywhere in the world. All these enterprises are using it globally, right? So I think it's a U.S. company, right? So it's kind of a two-headed, strategy on the Chinese side where they're saying, hey, look, this is what's going on.
I
And
picked
then
up
I
on
think
that
they're
too. I thought that's what they were doing, was pointing to this is a U.S. based company.
yeah, US based company, like, hey, they're using, do they give intelligence on vulnerabilities that we're not aware of, right? So they're trying to make the readers, or really the public, connect the dots here. And I think it's just a very interesting strategy. Now that, I mean, I think from, a standpoint that I think both the US and China have accused each other for many, many years doing this kind of stuff, right? I mean, it's just kind of, oh, it's happening again. Oh, it's a surprise. It's like a car accident at your, favorite, most busy highway, right? It's kind of just, it's just going to happen, right? But then, like, it's just very interesting, especially during geopolitically, where just, how, where we're standing in the country, in the world right now. It's just a very interesting time. They're starting to do this type of stuff as tariffs are happening, and all this stuff. It's all part of a strategy, I'm thinking. But again, I think it's very interesting on that end. It's very interesting that they're stepping up the propaganda war, right? It's on both sides, I guess. So it's just very interesting. But then I think one thing to do consider is, the Microsoft aspect. What's going on there? I mean, that Microsoft has a presence everywhere in the world, right? So it's essentially a global company now, right? So with developers from all over the world doing great things. So it's very interconnected. So it's pretty much a representation of how the global economy is, like how Microsoft has grown. So it's just, I think, very interesting to see this being called out more. So specific ties to, certain companies, and I think it's going to happen more often, right? From different countries, different accusers, right? So you're going to probably see it from Europe moving forward, right? So those are my thoughts, Ryan. What do you think?
No, I think you're definitely onto something. So I think this goes back to our discussion from the last episode. Me and Shannon did together. Like, where is the line between exploiting a vulnerability versus the duty to report, right? So, like, okay, this happened a couple years ago. They're just now talking about it, but at some point, the U.S. entities that were exploiting it, when do they have to tell Microsoft that, hey, this is a potential attack vector? That's out there, especially when it comes to this $4 trillion companies,
Right.
attack surface. So if it's being used, if we have the capability to use it on our near peers, then who's to say someone else out there isn't exploiting another one of our partners? So like Canada or someone else from the Five Eyes, etc., also being spied on or being attacked using this attack vector. So you would think that after you've discovered it and weaponized it, like when is like when does that fuse finally get lit where it's like, okay, now we need to tell Microsoft, so that way they can patch this vulnerability. So that's interesting to me. Like, I wonder what that doctrine looks like, or that guidance.
You think it'd be some kind of contract language, right? Some type of MSA, service level agreement.
Yeah, because you can't just say like patch it for everyone except for China.
Yeah,
But, but,
right.
but it depends on who found it, right? So like if these forces that were implementing this attack found it, right? Because they utilized it for a year, July
Yeah,
2022, July 2023.
they're
So
like,
they
oh, this is a good
found
one.
it. Yes, exactly. And they were like,
So
oh,
they're like, okay, I'm not going to tell Microsoft what we
exactly.
found.
That's what I'm saying, right? Like,
That's a true statement.
Yeah, it's very very interesting. Because then you would be upset if China was doing the opposite, right? Like, okay, China, you should have reported this to Microsoft sooner rather than later, or whomever, Russia, Syria, North Korea. So it's just interesting to see that balance that I guess they have to strike. But again, I'm sure it's somewhere in their doctrine or their standard procedures where it's
their
like, okay,
mission
now we
statement.
have to,
Their
yeah,
mission statement is right in the mission statement. We will exploit
Yes.
any cots we have access to.
right. Very, very interesting. But yeah, so China called us out. And I'm sure, like you said, that because of geopolitical situation that we're currently finding ourselves in, they're probably going to call us out a lot more. But it's that spy versus spy.
But
Yeah,
but again, remember that was the previous administration, right? Like the time that was happening, that was under the
that's true.
previous
That's a true
administration.
statement.
And we've done stories where we talked about the amount of money they were investing in cyber under the previous administration too, right? So like this just goes hand in hand with that, where they were like, we're gonna put our money where our mouth is. Put our money where our mouth is. Yeah.
No, very, very interesting. So yeah, I'm sure it's already been patched out. I don't know what the CVE number is on this one. They didn't put it in the article, but I'm sure it's already out there since this is now being brought up 2 years after the fact. But again, we're becoming more global, right? Like these products are everywhere. So if we find a hole and exploit it, best believe another country's doing the same thing to us or to our partners on the political landscape. It's always interesting to see it, and then I'm always just like, man, we uh, we talk a good game, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, hey, you have to use whatever resource you have available to you in order to get that competitive edge, whether it be corporate or you know military wise. Couldn't think of a word. Like I was gonna say militarily. I don't think that's a word.
Militarily.
So, but yeah, on to the next topic. I give it to you, Shannon.
All right, everybody. So this one comes from minpost.com. All right, written by Winter Kiefer. And it says, meet the Minnesota Guard unit behind this week's cybersecurity response to St. Paul. Yeah, there you go, Chris, representing, right? So this is what they say here is for the first time, there's a team of Minnesota cybersecurity experts that was deployed, right, from their guard. Oh, hold on, I'm trying to get this to scroll real quick. So there was a cyber attack on St. Paul, right? And they were like, hey, why is the National Guard in Minnesota? Why are they responding to this? And they have a cyber protection team that's actually been stood up since 2014, I want to say it was. So they were kind of on this bandwagon early, right? To where they had stood up that agency. And actually, like this particular unit, I think it was the 177th, I think is what it was. They did a multinational, I don't want to call it a tour, but they went around to all these different countries back in 2023, I think it was. But yeah, the 177th Cyber Protection Team is who they are, right? And they've been going around, like I said, nationally to learn different techniques and to teach some to other countries, right? They went to Italy, Germany, Slovenia, Tunisia, Morocco, Norway. Like they've been getting it in, right? So like when this happens, I'm pretty sure they were like, oh yeah, this is what we practice for, right? They're sitting there with their hands together, like, yes, guys, come on, let's go do this. Let's make it happen. But
it's a lot of per diem.
Yes,
that's the first thing I thought.
It's true.
When damn nice.
They go to all those countries, but no, but that was 2023. They were doing that. So even before this actually happened, right? Like you practice how you play. But the city of St. Paul had a cyber attack, and they were called up because this is what they do. This is what they're there for. Now, in reading a little bit more into this, what kind of was a little disheartening was when it comes to the amount of cyber teams that they have. I want to say I saw a figure that said it was only 10. I think in the Guard, which I mean, we have some in other agencies, right? And active that do a little bit more. But when it comes to the National Guard, there's only about 10 available. But after this, I can see it being one of those things where it's like, okay, we need to divert some resources, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say this is a promo.
Exactly.
Like, yeah.
Exactly. And again, especially since they've been doing it since 2014, right? So they had the US Army has been implementing this since 2014, and they've been ready for this to happen. I don't want to say ready for this to happen, but I mean, I guess, yes, they're ready for this to happen, right? It happens, you're prepared, and they're out there doing good things. But yeah, they're out there doing what they need to do, man. Like 10 cyber protection teams are all they have out there. Minnesota's is fully staffed, they said, with 40 military professionals. So that's good to see, because usually when it comes to cyber, that's kind of what we run into, right? It's not having the staffing, right? And again, usually we're talking about private businesses and things of that nature, but when it comes to Department of Defense and them fully staffing it and taking it seriously, that's what you like to see, right? So they're out there getting it in. But Chris, what's your thoughts on this?
I mean, first thoughts, I was when I read this article, I was pretty proud. Like, yeah, Minnesota, there you go. For listeners, I'm from Minnesota.
Is that why you got the shirt on today? Is that why you got the Minnesota?
I got the shirt on today, right? But really, the article hits on a few things that I'm really interesting. Specifically, one, for example, like really a public-private partnership, right? So when you look at for our listeners, the National Guards, right? At least the Minnesota National Guards, all these National Guards are directed by the state, right? So the big services, U.S. Navy, U.S. Army, right? They're federally run, right? So just consider that. So consider the National Guard almost like your local home team for military, right? If you're, based in Georgia, Florida, Tennessee, all of them have their own National Guard components, right? And these cyber protection teams are essentially your first line of defense to some degree, right? Not necessarily your first line of defense, but they help augment your state's capabilities, right? And also, I think I was in the National Guard. We were all active duty here for serving our federal components. But my understanding is that the National Guard units can also be called up by other states, right? Or through and get forward deployed to other areas of the country, whether it's through humanitarian support or whatever it might be, right? So we've seen a lot of that, right, with the hurricanes last year. But what's cool about that is that there's a public and private partnership. One of the reasons why, for example, the Minnesota National Guard DPT is fully staffed is because they have Minnesota has a robust economy, right? They've got a bunch of Fortune 500 companies there. They've got a lot of IT staff, right? That's ready to volunteer and serve and be able to assist the state when needed. So one cool thing is, like, for me, to me, it's kind of almost read like a recruiting thing. Like, hey, you could be part of the cyber protection team, and from my perspective, like, hey, if they gave me a direct commission, they're like, oh, 4, I'll go, I'll do it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, if
I
you
was like,
come
I'll
in.
come in. If you give me 04, I'll do it. That'd be nice to do. 1 week in a month. Right? But I'm thinking, they've got a robust economy. Right? Minneapolis, St. Paul, right? A lot of Fortune 500 companies, a lot of IT professionals, and from all sorts of industries. Right? You got healthcare, you got banking sectors, and you got consumer packaged goods, General Mills and Best Buy. Well, that's that. Sales. We've got all those companies up there with a bunch of IT professionals ready to, help serve. So I just found that to be really, really cool. What's interesting is, like, as Shannon was saying, this could serve as a model for other states, right? Get some of that funding. Like, hey, what if something happens, right? What if something happens to our capital? And for the listeners, right, St. Paul is the capital of Minnesota, not Minneapolis. A lot of people, it's like, people forget what the capital of New York is. It's not New York, right?
Right.
It's
Albany.
Albany. And, like, sometimes I forget. I'm like, wait, it's Albany, right?
That's where all the tests go. When you take your standardized test, they all go to Albany.
Exactly. Right.
It's crazy to me is that, like, whenever I hear about St. Paul, though, it's always Minneapolis, St. Paul. It's like Dallas, Fort Worth, right? Like, it's
Dallas, Fort Worth, exactly.
different cities, but you hear them mentioned together like that. So, like, yeah, it's wild. And I didn't realize, before I read this article, I didn't realize it was that tech heavy in St. Paul like that, man. Like, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, I mean, the way I'm thinking, it's like the more diversified economy is, right? The more, like, look at the amount of number that you're how many Fortune 500 companies are in these big cities, right? The more you have, the more manpower you have potentially to help augment a CPT. So making that attractive for IT professionals could serve as another venue to extract some of that knowledge from these. There's a lot of smart people that have never been in the military. Maybe it's something they consider, if they can get some kind of direct commission or some type of incentive to sign up, like maybe sign up bonuses, right? So that's I think a good way, right, to for other states to market, like, hey, look, there's a lot of crap going on. That we're seeing a lot of activity in our firewalls. We need some expertise on this, right? So I think it's just really cool. There's a lot of potential, and the fact that Minnesota serves as a model for everybody, it makes me really proud. It's great. But Ryan, what are your thoughts?
So I think they should absolutely conscribe you.
Conscribe.
E1 day one. They will have the smartest E1 on their hands ever. Just saying. Take your son back, Minnesota.
Exactly. It's so funny.
No, I thought this was cool. I didn't realize how few teams existed. I really thought there was more than 10. So you say if there's 10, if they're all fully staffed, what is that, 400 throughout the entire U.S.? That's pretty crazy to me. But like you said, Cybercom has active duty teams that also do this. However, usually they're deployed forward, right? Or whatever that means. Because, like, Intel guys don't get deployed forward. They usually stay, within the states or one of our partner nations. They don't really go into, and I'm saying in generalities, right? Like, we know we have Intel guys who actually do go forward, do their thing, but and for the most part, they don't really deploy them into, like, on the X, right, on the point of execution. So it's interesting to see that we have, again, so few that we could move around in the states. So yeah, we definitely, this is a great promo, and hopefully they do recruit. I can see Chris on the posters now, like Uncle Sam, but he's wearing a black hoodie.
Yeah.
We want you.
He's wearing black hoodie and, like, headphones.
Right. Listen
Vaping.
All the stereotypes.
Yep.
But no, it would be interesting to see them use this as a recruitment tool to pull more professionals in. Because I think a lot of people are always asking the question, like, how do I get into cyber? Well, the military is a great point of entry because they give you a lot of tools, resources, training, and practical experience early in your career. You see, obviously I'm biased. I'll say you see airmen, but just in general, you see troops able to interact with some high value resources in some of the most precarious situations, right? Like, state actors have attacked, or we see, in this case, a local attack. We can potentially put you into the fold to either support, defend, or rebuild. And as this stuff you're not getting as a necessarily as a civilian, because they're like, well, do you have a degree in this? And you're like, well, it has not. It's about the experience. Like, just because I have a degree doesn't mean that I will be. And I'm not hating on degrees. Right? I have a couple myself. I'm just saying, like, the barrier of entry to get into cyber on the civilian side is much higher than it is if you come through the military route. So I always say, like, hey, if you want to get into cyber and you're younger in your career, you may want to make that pivot. And now you see, hey, I can be a weekend warrior and do this as an entry point, as opposed to having to, you know, full time active duty it. So I think it's again a great point of entry. Military's not paying me. They could though. They would like to pay me
Hey,
to recruit.
sponsored by Air Force Recruit Command or whatever.
Right, exactly. Like if you want to put some of them DoD dollars on us, I will gladly put out there. And then like if you look at the like again, shameless promotion, right? If you look at the guide, a large majority of the people who were in the guide were either active duty or they had some kind of entry point in the military, right? Like I would say I can't count off the top of my head, but out of the 27, a large portion of them were either military or military adjacent at some point. So it's definitely a great entry point to getting your experience up, and then hopefully land that job in the civilian sector. You see, you got tech bros now being recruited to come in, right? Direct commission to come into the military because they provide that value as well.
Try oh 05, right? Something crazy. They're
Yeah,
lieutenant colonels. Wow.
because you had to match that pay.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
that's like when I was looking at going GS, I was like, I need a 15.
15,
They're
baby.
like, they look at you like, no.
You don't have enough
But
gray hair to be 15.
right, like, hey man, I'm trying
Your
to match
beard
this
needs to
pay
be
up.
gray.
Right, or you have to come in and
Get,
earn your stripes or whatever. Like, nah. Just here's some pay stubs. I'd like to make this on the inside, please. But I say all that to say, I think this is a great recruitment tool. I can see a future where they expand these features, so to say, right? Cyber protection teams, like, because again, 10 is woefully too small. So I think that this one, testing its metal, showing that, hey, we're out here and we're able to defend the home front, will show other states that, hey, we need to also build these up. And then again, rising tide floats all ships. Is that the saying? I don't know. Did I just make that
A
up?
rising tide raises all boats or something like that.
I don't know. Some old fuddy duddy
Chris, you're the
saying.
sailor here, man. Help us out.
But I said to say, like, yeah, every state should have a protection team and then have it fully staffed as well. So I think this is a great initiative. But without further ado, Shannon, what's the next topic?
All right, fellas. So this one comes from built10.com, written by Jenny Lyons Kuna. And the title of this one is TikTok has dodged the US ban for now, but the clock is ticking, right? So in the beginning of the year, I want to say it was January, was when I don't know if everybody remembers, TikTok went off for, it was a couple days or something like that, right? Or a day and a half or something.
Was it even a day?
It might have been. Was it even? It wasn't even a day. Maybe 18
I
hours.
don't
Or
I don't
something like
remember.
Was it
that.
a day? Like iPods were selling for like G's on eBay or
It still
something
had
that
it
have
still had the app
pre-installed
on it, right?
TikTok or
Yeah,
something. Yeah.
yeah. So like it wasn't that long. Maybe it was. I don't have it, so I don't I don't know how long it was down, but I know it went down for let's say some hours at least, right? And then it was back up again. But yeah, so the point being here, right? So like the TikTok ban that was supposed to happen back in January, right? Unless it was sold to an American company, it's been extended a couple times now, right? So like we're in August right now, and now they have a September, I want to say it's 17th deadline for a company to actually, an American company to actually buy TikTok, right? But there has been a couple times where it's been rumored that big companies were in the running, right, to get it, right? There was a point where Meta was supposed to have it, right? Blackstone was a part of a consortium that was bidding for it, and they actually pulled out, right? So it's so now it how do I want to say this? I'm trying to say this without getting us banned, fellas. How how
I would expect the same. Like if that's going to happen, I need to get an extension every time they're going to ban us.
yeah, so like
Fair is fair.
we did it because we thought there was a security risk with it, right? But like if we've gone 8 months now, right? Let's call it 8 months to where it's still up and running, right? We shut it down for, let's say, not a day, right? And we keep giving these extensions. What was the purpose? What was the purpose of us doing all of this in the beginning, right? Like it was, we said, hey, there could be a back door with different, what do you call it? Like, not, I don't want to call them attack vectors, but different ways to exploit.
Right. Or like our data is definitely being shared with China.
Yeah,
And
like
then, oh, by the way, we're going to continue to share our data with China.
yeah, like we're still doing it, right? Like with all these extensions and everything. So what are we really gaining from this, right? Like what is really happening here? What are we waiting for? Are we going to get another extension, right, when the September deadline comes along, right? But there's been reports that ByteDance is building a U.S. only version of TikTok, right? And it's called M2, and that's supposed to launch in September, which is when the deadline ends anyway, right? So the current administration is talking about how they're gonna actually sell it to an investor group, right? Oracle is another one that's been mentioned. I forgot to mention them as well, right? But like some of these big companies have been tied to purchasing TikTok, but I don't know, man. Like we said that we needed the ban because of the data is sensitive and it shouldn't be shared with a foreign nation, but we're
Right.
so deep into it now. We're months and months
And
past.
its potential to influence. So I don't know which one's
Yeah,
worse, the sharing of data, because data is gold, or is it the ability to influence Americans and our youth? No, I don't know. Or is it the combination of both? Because they're kicking them off of different out of different countries. Like it's like we continue to have the app, but you can't have a point of presence. You can't have people who work here.
But
I
then
think
like
Canada kicked them out, right?
in January, like people were going over to was it Red Note, right? And nobody's stopping that, right? Where's the regulation on just stopping Red
Right.
Note? Well, I mean, from the consumer perspective, it's like why does one company get preferential treatment over another, right? Why is why is one organization getting scrutinized when others aren't, right? So really, I think in previous documentation, previous articles, it's really about the fact that there's no federal like clear cut privacy regulation. It's all stuff run by states, so it can get a lot of there can be a lot of confusion as to who has to do what, right? So we all know CPPA, the California Privacy Protection Act, right? So that one's very ubiquitous, at least in the privacy circles, but there's nothing federally mandated, so there's no robust standard on that. So it does get confusing at some points, but you're definitely right on that, right?
but
Like I'm thinking.
go
Yeah,
ahead,
go
Chris.
ahead.
No, go ahead, Chris. Go ahead. Finish
Oh,
it.
talking about the potential, interested parties. I'm thinking like you're saying Blackstone. I was thinking, or I was reading also that maybe Amazon or Microsoft would have been interested to have a controlling stake in it. But really,
Well,
it
Mr.
all,
Beast
yeah,
also.
Mr. Beast. But then like it comes to a matter of fact, like Oracle. I think in current documentation, if you go to the TikTok website, I think that a lot of the U.S. infrastructure is hosted on the Oracle cloud, right? So it's already in the Oracle cloud anyway, right? So are they wanting to just data sovereignty? Where's this stuff gonna? Where's the processing going to happen? Are they going to put it in a FedRAMP cloud on the Gov cloud or something? What's the standard, right? Do TikTok would need to pay the extra to have that? Because at the end of the day, you got people from all over the world using this platform, right? So it's really complicated. You've got cross national data regulations and things like that. It's very confusing, right? So I'm just thinking from a consumer perspective, like you're thinking, hey, and also people don't realize like TikTok has 7 million businesses or so use TikTok as part of their marketing campaigns, right? And the way they see it, it's like, hey, if they've got a younger audience, TikTok is huge. Like it's critical to their marketing teams, right? So I think in the article it talks about contributes $24 billion to the economy. That's a lot, right? Shutting down a platform could be, deleterious. It could be bad for a lot of businesses out there, especially smaller businesses that rely on the cool marketing so they can get the younger generation to come to their stores or what storefronts, right? And I think that's kind of the struggle that any administration, in my opinion, would have issues with this, right? You got privacy and data concerns, but you also have, hey, we've got a lot of people here that need this so that they can continue to get business from their clients, right? But then you have this whole dynamic between China and US again, harking back to our first article. So when's that gonna? It's not. It's gonna keep. It's this discussion is gonna, I think, get kicked down. The can's gonna be kicked down the hall.
But here's what's weird to me, right? And I said this before because we talked about this back in January or maybe February when this first came up about the TikTok ban. Actually, I think it was January because it hadn't, we talked about it actually going down when it did. But
Right.
so the act that they call the TikTok ban is what do they call it? Protecting Americans from Foreign Adversary Controlled Applications Act, right? PAFACA, whatever that is, PAFACA, right?
Right.
Why is it that we care about that, but we don't care about it when Meta does it? We don't care about it when X does it, right? Like they're doing the same type of stuff, right? If you truly care about data privacy, it should be across the board. It shouldn't just be for foreign owned.
Well, I think it's the long arm of the law, though. Like you have the ability to bring a Zuckerberg or Elon or whomever to Congress to testify, but you don't have the ability to bring the key people from China over, like the CEO that did stop by to answer some really asinine questions. Like they did not ask good questions.
Yeah, that was really not productive.
It was very brutal.
And
But
that was
he
embarrassing.
yeah he is the guy. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to demean his position, but you can't really do much with him or with China. You can't really pull them in and make them do anything. You can't say,
But what happened? What happened?
we're gonna lock you up.
But what happened when they pulled Zuckerberg in there to answer questions for stuff like that, right? Like nothing came of it, right? They asked the questions, right? And what comes of it? They might get a fine that is a drop in the bucket to them, right?
Right. Well, I mean, part of it is theater, right? Like to show that, hey, we're in control. Hey, we have the power, but they have no power over China or whomever ByteDance decides to put in a key position. Like a lot of it is theater. So that was my issue with it before. It was like, hey, because you had my buy-in, right? I was under, because it was across the board. It was bipartisan. Everybody was saying, from a government perspective, was saying, hey, we have intelligence that shows that they're able to disrupt. They're able to push propaganda. They're able to, you know, bend people's will through this application. And oh, by the way, they're able to collect data as well. TikTok is too big to be controlled by a foreign adversary in the States. Okay, you got my buy-in. I'm not on TikTok all like that. Like I need to for the book because there's such things called book talk. So book talk sells books, right? Like you can get on there and push your book to the masses. And I'm thinking about jumping on, to be honest with you, because it's like if it's not going to go away, then why not utilize it, right?
I just thought about something like how many bits of enterprise software are utilized that their parent companies aren't in the US, right? You got like SAP is one of the most popular ERP software, right? SAP HANA. The parent company is in Germany. And I promise you, they have a lot more data on these organizations than we have, right? That TikTok does. They have company, enterprise risk management and metrics that are very sensitive. That company's controlled in Germany, or its parent company's in Germany, right? So it's foreign controlled.
They're
our ally, right? So, but I'm just saying, you got to be consistent with this kind of stuff.
Yes,
right?
yes. And coming out of, so if you look at like a GDPR or something else coming from overseas, they seem to be more consistent. It's all about the protection of their citizens. Again, it could be theater.
Mm-hmm.
But the U.S., it seems as though this got carved up. It was like, hey, we have a bipartisan initiative. Everybody's on board. Let's get it out of here. And then as people start to get involved, it seems to be, hey, let's make sure that we can benefit off of this. Like, okay, we can disrupt and pull it away from our adversary. But then how does the U.S. line its pockets with this new initiative? So it feels as though it went from a bipartisan thing to now being more of a, we're capitalists. Let's make capitalist type moves with it, and whatever this M2 can, go to our buddies and be profitable. So I think it kind of morphed. It's still like the core of the principle or the idea is still let's protect U.S. citizens, but now it's kind of like let's protect U.S. citizens and let's make a lot of money.
But you're still
It
not
gives kind of
protecting.
U.S. equivalent.
You're still not protecting citizens, even if it's an American company doing the same thing when it comes to data privacy, right? It's like that to me, that was the big selling point, is your data privacy and it being in the wrong hands, right? Like it's not like America's necessarily holding some of these big corporations responsible for some of the stuff they're doing when it comes to them leaking
Right.
data, or not properly protecting PII, PHI, things of that nature, right? I don't know, man. It just seems like you're not making any real change with this. So what if Larry Ellison from Oracle buys it up, right? Or whomever it may be, right? Or Zuckerberg from Meta, whoever it may be.
Or
Or
Mr. Beast.
Mr.
Mr.
Beast,
Beast.
right? But again, he was in a consortium like Blackstone was, right? Like it wasn't just
Yeah.
him doing it, right? So, but he was the big name. It's like when Magic Johnson gets tied to like purchasing a franchise, he only has like
Right.
3% that he puts into it, but Magic's the name, right?
Now it's Shaq. Shaq
Yeah.
is now the
Shaq.
equivalent. Yeah.
Shaq has some Wendy's franchises. Oh yeah, Shaq's a huge Wendy's investor.
So I don't know, man. It kind of hurts me a little bit because I'm like you're I don't want to say robbing Peter to pay Paul, but you're just shifting. They're gonna do the same thing. Like the same information is gonna be there. It's just that we feel
Right.
better
Right.
about it because it's an American company.
Yeah. No, I get what you're saying. Like it's like I get the spirit of it. You're just like if wrong is wrong and right is right, then let's
Across the
make
board.
this pivot. But that's then money gets involved, and it's sort of like how do we spend this to you know make it as profitable as possible for all those involved, because 24 billion, and they make it seem like this 24 billion and just local economies, right? Like the mom and pop shops are the 24 billion. So how much money are they making off TikTok? Like TikTok has to be like a almost hundreds of billions, if not several hundreds of billions of money is being funneled through that thing. It's crazy. And
170 million Americans use it. That's what they said in the article. So like,
that's
you can
half.
imagine 100.
That's
Yeah,
like
yeah, right.
half of Americans
There's
use this
there's
thing.
kids with TikToks that are making money, right? You said it was 7 million businesses make money through TikTok. Is that what the number you gave, Chris?
Yeah, 7 million or something like
And
that.
that
Yeah.
seems low. That seems low to me.
Yeah, that's humongous. I gotta get on TikTok, man. Sell this book. Gotta get the hashtag book talk. So sell this guide. Yeah, I think it's a lot of theater now when its intended purpose was to protect citizens. So how is it gonna morph? I don't know, but someone's gonna make a lot of money, or some peoples are gonna make a lot of money once this is all said and done. So I'm also disheartened, and I'm thinking about joining the TikTok. I want some of this 24 billion as well, but I digress. So with that being said, in our new format, right? So got to shout out again. Buy the book, theothersideofthefirewall.com. Go there, get a discount, or wherever books are sold. So you get Amazon, Barnes and Noble, Walmart. It's everywhere. People, go buy it. With all that out of the way, Shannon, how was your week?
Well, my last couple weeks actually, we had a little bit of a break, but like in the
Yeah.
last couple weeks, we man, been spending time with the family. Man, we did a little surprise. We surprised my daughter with a concert. My youngest
Okay.
daughter, right? She's 7, so she watches this Disney series Descendants, right? So it's the descendants
Ah, okay.
of all like the Disney characters, like Cruella Deville's children, Maleficent's
Right.
children, stuff like that. Well, they did a concert up in Denver on a Monday, right? So I had to take leave to go up there and surprise her, but we didn't tell her about it until we got to the hotel. We're like, hey, this is what we're gonna do tonight, and she was ecstatic, right? Her
Right.
first concert. She'd never been, and I got to be honest, I was surprised at the production value. It was really good.
Okay.
Like I was just like, wow. And it's Descendants and Zombies. So apparently there's a Zombies
Yeah, I've
Disney
seen the zombie
show.
one. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
like it was both of them, and they had like the actors from the show, most of the actors from the show. There was one.
Really?
Yeah, there was one.
Huh.
She was from High School Musical. I never watched High School Musical either, but she like subbed in for one of the girls that was there. But
Okay.
yeah, it was a really good show, man. I was like, wow, it was almost 3 hours worth. I was like, that is a long for
That's a long time,
concert.
especially to keep younger children's
Well,
attention for that
they had
long.
it. they had an intermission of like 20 minutes, right? Like halfway through. But even with that, like these everybody was loving it, man. I'm like, I don't know any of these songs, but apparently everybody in here does. It was at Ball Arena where the Nuggets play,
Oh, okay,
right?
got you.
So it's
Nice.
a
Right.
big venue, you know what I mean? But yeah, it was a good time. She really enjoyed herself, man. Lots of video, lots of pictures. She loved it. So like we had her Halloween costume was going to be one of the characters from it, right? And so we didn't tell her, we packed it. So we had her dressing in the costume as one of the
Okay.
Descendants characters. And then my wife and I, so her character was like Princess Red, right? And her mother is like the Queen of Hearts or something like that. So
Okay.
my wife had a shirt that had the Queen playing card on it. I had one that had the King playing card,
Okay.
right?
Yeah,
King
you
of
have to do
Hearts,
that.
Queen of Hearts,
Yeah.
right? So it was pretty cool, man. So yeah, it was a good time. She enjoyed it. Been taking the children out, just letting them enjoy their last little bit of summer. School's starting up for them here soon, right? So on the 11th, I think it is, they go back August
Man,
11th.
summer's almost over. It's crazy.
Yeah, ain't it though? Ain't it? Like so,
Not
letting them have their fun.
not for Floridians. Summer's
They'll
gonna
say
be
not the temperature.
not the temperature.
Y'all are baking down there, man.
Oh
Y'all are
man, it's been crazy.
baking.
Tampa hit 100, I think last week.
Bro, Denver hit 100 the day we went up there for that concert. I was like, this is too
That's
much for a
insane.
Mile High City, 100 degrees. Like, come on, man. I'm a mile up. It shouldn't be like. I can only imagine 5,280 feet below that. Right?
Right.
Like how warm it was. Yeah, because we had that heat dome earlier this or last week.
Mhm.
Right, that was going over the country, that was just baking parts of the country, man. But yeah, Ryan, I saw your thing where you were like, yeah, this is what the temperature says. And then Chris chimed in. I was like, ooh, y'all are baking down there, boy. That's crazy.
Absolutely. With the humidity as well.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. But no, that's pretty much been it, man. Spending time with the family, doing stuff with the kids, letting them enjoy their summer. And then it's gonna get to a point where like I have off every other Friday. So then it's gonna be me and my wife just having our date days again without these
Nice.
dumb butt kids. No, I love my children. I do, but like I'm kind of ready for summer to be over so me and her could just enjoy ourselves a little bit, just doing our thing. But yeah, that's pretty much it for me. What about you, Chris? What you been up to, man?
Really light on the media, right? Mostly been doing some self-studying, some certs. I've been doing I got 2 Azure certifications now, but they're the 900 series. I got the Azure Fundamentals a while ago, and then recently I got the AI Fundamentals, right? So it lets you play around with some of the AI fundamentals in Azure. Really awesome. I really loved it. And yeah, looking forward to getting some more of those. Probably looking at the Azure Administrator Associate one. That one's very common, AZ 104. And then eventually towards like solutions architect, and then going, just kind of broadening my horizons, right, from the cloud standpoint. So those certs have been very fun actually, because I have a lot of the vendor neutral certs, right? So I wanted to focus on something, towards a vendor, so that
Right.
I can get some hands-on experience on that. But really, if you know one of the cloud platforms, you really know all of them. It's just a lot of them are just all the capabilities are named differently, right?
Right.
So it's they all have the same things, like AWS, GCP, right? So pick one that you like, and I stuck with Azure. I'm just going to stick to it. And I'm doing a lot of learning on that. From personal side, we started making our own pizza at home, right? So we bought a baking steel. If you just go to like bakingsteel.com, it's like a big, metal plate that goes into your oven that
Oh,
simulates like
okay.
a baking stone. And man, the pizza's delicious, right? Make your own dough, and then put however many toppings you want. 500 degrees, 10 minutes. That's it, right? So maybe eventually we would get a little
Pizza oven.
pizza oven for outside, right? But maybe later, right? But we're really enjoying this method. 10 minutes isn't bad, but the like for example, these Uni outdoor ovens that are propane powered, right? They can get to like 900 degrees, so you can cook
Yeah.
a pizza in like 90 seconds or so, a minute or something, like just like they can do in the restaurants, right? They've got the big Italian ovens. The fancy bougie ones are like, oh, we imported this from Italy, blah blah
Right.
blah,
Brick by brick.
brick by brick, right?
Reassembled it.
It assembled. It came assembled like this. It cost thousands of dollars to ship. But yeah, like that been another one of our little projects at home. Yeah, nothing too crazy, right? Let's see, nothing new on that end. I didn't get to watch the new Superman movie. Heard some good things about it. I know a lot of my friends saw it. It's pretty decent. But really, nothing really stands out right now. I think it's that summer, post, spring season. Nothing really new is coming up, at least from my end. So all the good stuff starts in fall or winter time, in my opinion. So really light for me.
Okay. So I can't rock with you in the pizza oven because I'm trying
Yeah.
to lose weight over here.
Yeah.
That would do the opposite, right?
Right.
You'll just make a cauliflower crust. That's all you got to do, right, man?
Yeah, that's all
Right,
you gotta
yeah,
do.
man. So yeah, trying to lose a little bit of weight, like post-retirement weight, right? So I'm trying to up my exercise game without impacting my body too much, right? Because no point being broken and then you can't work out for weeks at a time. So working on that. What else did I do? So vacation. So we went to St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Nice.
Always a good time. I think so. This is our second year doing it. So we did it when they first opened last year. We went back this year. Both excellent times. Really enjoy it. It's a Sandals all inclusive resort type situation. Love it. Not going to do it next year. I think we should, because if you really enjoy something, right, you don't want to overdo it. So I think
Yeah.
we're going to do something different for our annual getaway next year, and then in a year or two come back to it. I'm like, okay, let's see how because they're actually breaking ground. They're building some new rooms and things of that nature. So they're like the island is dope. The people are always really kind. This time we did a tour of Dark Falls, so they show us some of the Pirates of the Caribbean set because like Port Royal from Pirates of the Caribbean, which I saw the first movie. I haven't seen any of the rest, not because I didn't like the series. I just whenever it was really booming, I just was doing something different.
You're
So went
deployed.
there, probably, I don't even know. But went there, that was cool to see. So now I gotta go watch the movies so I can, like, oh, okay, that I get what they're doing. And then we went to the called Dark Falls. It's a really nice waterfall. The water is falling at like 75 miles per hour. So if you, yeah, I got a video of me getting underneath it. It will pummel you.
I
Felt
believe
great,
it.
but if you come at the wrong angle, man, it'll beat you down. So got the experience that because it's not really a lot of excursions there.
What is in that water to where it's falling so hard? Like that's crazy, man.
It's just the height. So, but it's beautiful. It's beautiful, and it felt great the entire time we were there. It was last time we went a couple years ago. Beautiful days, like every day feels like perfect temperature. This time, for whatever reason, almost the same exact week, but definitely the same exact time frame ish. Like we were off by like a couple days. I think we went a little earlier by a day or two, left a little later by a day or two. The entire time, but it was still nice. Even though it rained every day, it's still gorgeous weather, gorgeous resort. So I'd highly recommend if you get a chance to check it out. And then not a lot of media, not a lot of complete media. So I started a bunch of movies, didn't finish them. So Death of a Unicorn, I started that one. It's an A24 film. It's kind of horror comedy, like because obviously the premise is they kill a unicorn. I think it's Paul Rudd and she plays Wednesday on the TV show. So
Or
Jenna
Jenna
Ortega,
Ortega.
yeah,
Jenna Ortega. Yeah, Jenna
yeah.
Ortega.
Uh, I like it. I just didn't finish it last night, so I'll probably finish it today. And then I started another one. So they redid War of the Worlds for Prime. So it was a famous book, and then there was a radio series that scared a bunch of Americans because they thought it was real back in the oldie times, right? I think it was like the 50s when it came on the radio. And then Tom Cruise and Dakota Fanning have a version that came out. I did like it. It just the ending was kind of, I don't know, it's got kind of garbage. So they've redone it again with a more modern lens, and it's Ice Cube, Eva Longoria, a bunch of other celebrities. This time the gimmick is that it's he's an NSA asset, so he's viewing all of this world um, destruction and war through the prism that he is a NSA asset that's able to grab like UAV feeds, and he's on the internet, and like so it's all from his, basically it's from his perspective looking at his screen. And it's kind of cool. Like obviously Ice Cube is hilarious. Like he's always Ice Cube no matter the situation, right? He's so even though he's playing the role of NSA guy, he's still Ice Cube, and it's pretty funny.
Still Ice
Like,
Cube.
get out of there. 911. So it's a lot of his funny outbursts. So I did not finish it because one of my nieces walked in the room and it was on the scary part. So I was like, oh, okay, I'll watch this later. So I'll probably finish that today. And then I played more of that Donkey Kong Bonanza game. Amazing. If you like, Mario Odyssey or just older Nintendo games, right? Collectathon games where you're like Mario 64, Banjo Kazooie, like games like that with a more modern control scheme. Like you'll definitely enjoy this. Like I'm having a blast with that one. And still,
Your Switch
oh,
2
go ahead.
does backwards compatibility, right? So like, have you
Yeah, you can play
tried
old games on
other?
Switch. Mhm.
Have you tried a lot of your old games that you had on the initial?
Just the Zeldas, which run amazing now. It's like 4K 60 frames on the older games. So they do a really good job of backwards compatibility. So I need to go back and finish Tears of the Kingdom finally, but that game's humongous. I'm probably going to start though, to be honest with you. But yeah, really enjoying the Switch. I took it with me. I only played it on the plane going there, so I was playing some Donkey Kong. Very comfortable. The flight was fairly short. I think the flight from Miami, the Miami leg to St. Vincent's, like 3.5 hours,
You fly
something like that.
American Airlines?
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I flew American.
It's usually just American or JetBlue down here for
Yep.
going to the Caribbean.
Yep. Because last time it was JetBlue is what we took,
Mhm.
which I was surprised because JetBlue's from back at home, right? So I'm used to JetBlue taking you through New York and then up to like Toronto and stuff like that. But
Yeah,
apparently
right.
they've blown up.
Which
Yeah.
I
So
don't know if you guys heard. New York had a small earthquake. Jersey had a small earthquake
yeah,
yesterday.
I saw it was on my timeline. I didn't
Jersey's
read about
been
it.
crazy. They've had flooding,
Yeah.
not hurricanes, but earthquakes. It's been crazy up there recently.
Yeah, they had well, they did have a hurricane, right? Wasn't it Sandy or something like that? Like a few
That
years
was
back.
Yeah, right.
storm. It was a superstorm, Sandy. They're not calling it a hurricane, right?
Oh,
They
okay,
called it a
got you.
superstorm. They didn't say it was a hurricane went up through New York, right?
I think they did get some storm surge, I think, too.
Yeah.
Over
Yep.
that.
Yeah, like billions of dollars of damage.
Yep.
Right.
It caused. It's crazy. But no, I didn't read about it yet. So hopefully everybody is doing well. It's been pretty crazy. Like we had that humongous earthquake outside of Russia that caused tsunamis to head towards Alaska, California, and Japan. So
Hawaii got a little.
Hawaii got it. Yeah. They say waves as high as like 6 feet or something like that. It's pretty crazy. So yeah, man, I don't know. Like we're living in a horror movie right now. Like Dante's Inferno.
Get out of there. That's where you're supposed to tell
Ice
everybody.
Cube's like watching it. Get out of there, call 911. So yeah, that's pretty much it for me, man. Like just half consuming media and things of that nature. So I need to jump back on that. Then obviously promoting the book, will definitely got throw it in there. Go to theothersideofthefirewall.com where you can buy it at a discount or buy it from your retail bookstore, ebook store of choice. So it's out there in the wild. So reviews are coming in, people like it. So I'm feeling encouraged to do another one. But I need to get some studying on. I got to be like Chris. I got to get some certs on my belt so I can renew a bunch of stuff before it expires. But definitely thank you for rocking with us again. This is being dubbed season 4, so I need to update some title cards, things of that nature. We're trying a different format where we go the entire time, kind of like we did back in the olden days with me, Shannon, and Levon. Because it's just easier on the post production, and I just want to see how people receive it. So definitely continue to check us out at the websites that go by our name, the other side of the firewall.com, or you can Google Ask a CISSP or anything like that, and we'll pop up as well on your podcast platforms of choice. We're also on 99.1 FM. The new Nielsen number should be coming out soon, so I can let you guys know how we're doing on that front. How many people are tuning in on the radio as well as on the internet. Yeah. And Channel 10. So I need to upload some new episodes for that one. I think that deadline's coming up soon. So another 8 brand new episodes, which I usually lead with the interviews. So a lot of the Ask a CSSPs, and then my favorite episodes of the year I also load up there. So let you guys know how that's going. So with all that being said, go to the other side of firewall.com, ramcyber.io, or hit me up personally. I'm at RY Security Guy. That's RY Security Guy. You can find me pretty much everywhere, but LinkedIn is where I'm most active. And where can they find you, Chris?
You can find me on LinkedIn under my name, Chris Avicon, last name spelled A Bacon.
There it is. Stay safe. Stay secure.